Comfort and connection define your week. Nurture relationships that nurture you back, both emotionally and spiritually.
Welcome to Cards and Constellations with Bonnie Morris and Don Rumer-Rivera from Sonoran Mystic Tarot. Here, we blend astrology and tarot to guide you through the twists and turns for the week ahead. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share. Let's dive into your cosmic journey together.
Cancer, let's start by talking with your social life here. You're feeling more selective with your social time. You prefer smaller gatherings and quality one-on-one interactions over the noisy crowds. A friend may reach out for an emotional support midweek. Your compassionate ear makes a big difference. Over the weekend, you may feel the urge to reconnect with someone you've drifted from. A sincere message or casual catch-up could renew that bond. By Sunday, you're going to crave quiet reflection and time in nature so that you can recharge. Don, let's see what those cards are jumping for.
Well, the first card out for Cancer was the Page of Wands. Page of Wands. So you are going to be getting invitations. These are probably going to be more of a working type environment and not really friends and family situation. So as you get the invitations, you may want to take them up on it. You may not want to find out. Again, I wonder why I said may or may not. The energy was already in front of me. I love it. There's that Wheel of Fortune. Spin the wheel. This isn't one of those have to do things, which is wonderful because again, when the Wheel of Fortune comes out, it's telling you have choices and you can make a choice to do this or not do this. So you're not going to hurt yourself in any way if you're invited to a business function and you say, no, I'm not going. Or if you want to commit to instead go to a social function instead. This is going to be a week where that's not going to be such a bad thing for you to do either way. Because again, when the Wheel of Fortune comes, it's saying, hey, you're going to be fine either way in that sense. I love this. You will get a few different invitations. This is a 9 of Wands, a few different invitations along the way. Make sure that as you do that, just a warning, this is not in the cards right now, but the warning about that is make sure you're looking at your calendar and you're keeping track so that you don't overbook, which is wonderful. And then we have a Knight of Swords, which is an interesting card because that Knight of Swords is be careful not to make a quick decision because again, the Knight of Swords often doesn't think, they just act. And so you jump on an opportunity because you just say, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that for you. And all of a sudden you're realizing, oh man, why did I do this? I really didn't want to do this. So be careful with the Knight of Swords saying, don't make the yeses too quickly or the no's too quickly. Again, it goes either way, by the way, but make sure that you're thinking about the opportunities when they come. Again, remember, there's going to be a number of them. As I'm digging for the card and it wouldn't pull up. Again, there are going to be a number of them. So make sure that you think about, okay, do I really want to do this? Give it some thought. Don't just do something rash and make a decision because then you're going to be put in a situation where you're going to have to either go and suck it up, buttercup, or you're going to have to turn to say, sorry, I can't, which is uncomfortable as can be. So just take some precautions in advance. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. That's what I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really close because I was talking about how, you're going to have a lot to do here and you got to choose smaller crowd, noisy crowd. Well, you always prefer the smaller one and don't overcommit because by Sunday you're going to be wiped out.
Mm-hmm. That is one thing we're seeing it seems with a lot of the signs this week is that this is going to be an socially exhausting week for a lot of folks. So folks, get your energy charged already. Keep working on that. And while you're charging energy, hit that energy button for us, which is called subscribe in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on Your Love Goddess, which is Miss Bonnie's channel, please pop over to Sonoran Mystic Tarot, which is mine, and do the same thing. Should you be on mine, pop over to Your Love Goddess and hit that subscribe button. Additionally, Cards and Constellations do the same thing over there. With that said, talking about love and relationships, we're going to get to that in a little bit, but first, let's move on to finances, Miss Bonnie. How will you be able to afford love and relationships?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're motivated to find balance between security and ambition. The week starts with a practical tone, budgeting bills, plans for long-term stability. Mars is in Leo, which boosts your confidence around finance, pushes you to claim your worth or request fair compensation. If you've been considering investing in your home or workplace, this is a favorable period to start researching or planning that. Avoid emotional spending as a comfort for early in the week, because by Friday, you'll be glad you waited. All right, Dawn, pull the cards.
Well, it's interesting when you talked about, when you said there are two cards that flew out, but when you said comfort, avoid the comfort of spending because of that
Oh, there
card.
you go.
And I'm like, ah, so perfect. But the overarching card, which is the card that is part of the energy for the entire week, this was again just one aspect of it, which means to avoid, was I love this, the Magician card. So the Magician card is you're in control. You are in control. You manifest what you need to do. So this is a week where you manifest. If for finances, you're going to manifest what money you need coming in. You said, hey, look, I need the money for this. I need the money for this. I need the money for this. You're going to tell the universe it's time for them to bring that money in, and you're going to have that money show up, hopefully as is needed. You're going to avoid, like we said, that oh, I got to go out and spend money to make myself feel better. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay. And then ultimately, I love this. You have the Emperor card. So the Emperor card is saying, is stay in charge. Stay in charge of your finances. Stay in charge of your money. If you're in a relationship, this is one of those ones where this is the warning that you need to be making the final major argument for how the expenses are happening, because maybe you're in a situation where the other part wants to do this as well, and you're like, no, we can't do that. So this is you staying large and in charge with your finances this week, and again, manifesting, telling the universe what you need and have it bring it into you. And then finally, the fourth card out is you'll be glad you did, because by the weekend it's all going to be ironed out. And this is the party card, the Three of Cups. And so again, it's the happiness card. It's the card that says, you know what, it worked out finally the way it did. But it did because you controlled your spending and you controlled the access to the money. The money.
Good old Mars and Leo. He wants you to take action, and you got to hold those reins back a little bit.
Yeah, and it can be difficult because, I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's easy to put aside passion sometimes, because sometimes when we're frustrated or whatever, we can't help but want to insatiate ourselves. We want to make ourselves happy. We want to, it's like, okay, let me just do this. But again, it could lead to something down the road. So just be that King of Swords and say, you know what, I'm good. We're good. The Emperor, I'm sorry, the Emperor. I'm good. We're good. I'm in control. It will work out. Because remember, the Emperor sets things in motion, and then he just sits back and is like, I got this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, let's move on to love. For the moon this week, we start off with the last quarter in Cancer on the 13th. Now, that's when we celebrate all of our success and the end of a project, and then we turn away and we look for the next new moon. Now, to find out what we're celebrating, we got to go all the way back. And we go back to the new moon, which occurred in Cancer on July 17th of 2023. Then the first quarter was on April 15th of 2024. And that's when you did all of the work. And then the full moon began this January 13th of 2025. And that's when you made any changes. So now let's go into the void of course. On the 14th, the void of course begins at 5:04 a.m. Mountain Standard Time until 10:47 a.m. when it goes into Leo. On the 16th, it begins at 5:05 a.m. and goes until 6:06 p.m. and then it enters into Virgo. On the 18th, it begins at 9:10 p.m. until the 19th at 4:02 a.m. when it goes in. Well, let's move on to love. This week brings emotional warmth and healing. The Libra Sun highlights your domestic and emotional zones, encouraging tenderness and reassurance in relationships. If you're single, someone may catch your eye through mutual friends or a comforting familiar setting, perhaps a friend's home, a local cafe, or an online space that feels safe. For couples, this is a time to deepen trust through small, meaningful gestures, listening more, being patient, or showing vulnerability. The moon in Pisces, which happens midweek, enhances your empathy and your intuition, helping you to feel truly understood by someone close. All right, Dawn, get the cards out.
All righty then. Nothing flew out, which is an interesting thing because these cards have been jumping a lot. But the love in this situation didn't jump so much. I don't know. The sun card's here though. I like that. The sun card's here. The sun will come out tomorrow, but for you, it's this week. I love that. The second card out, Six of Swords. Third card out, a Two of Rods or Wands, and the fourth card out being the infamous Strength card. Interesting. In love this week, if we take it as it is clear, we have the Sun card. So if you are if you're in a long-term relationship, again, you guys are destined to be together for a while longer, and eight, it isn't ending too soon, so that's a good thing. And the good part is if you're in that relationship right now, you're finally attuned because you both are headed in the same direction, and you're able to take on the barriers as they come up one at a time, and you're okay with that, which is great. You have a Two of Rods. It tells me that the relationship has not always been the smoothest. It has not always been the most lovey-dovey. Okay, because this is some work. You've had some bumps along the way, and again, it's part of what this is. Because again, nothing is smooth sailing. See the swords. So yeah, but you know what? You guys have been through it, and you're still together, and that's wonderful. And that's because you've been strongly holding on to it. You know the value of a relationship. So this week, with the Sun card there, it's more about acknowledging. Maybe stop for a moment and acknowledge, you know what? We've had a bit of a road to get to where we are, but I'm so glad that you're the person with me to do this. Remind the person, just take and remind them why they're important in your life, why they are significant, and why that you felt this way for so long with them. And additionally, you're going to open the door for them to do the same thing to you. And maybe this is a week where you need to hear it. So let's pay attention to our relationship and make sure let's have a conversation. Now, with your folks who out there who have not been teamed up yet, this ain't the week for it. Sorry. I hate to give you that news. Keep looking. Keep looking.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure this is a keep looking. The sun's there, which is great. So again, it's this is a good atmosphere for it, but keep looking because they're not there yet. I'm getting to you still have about 2 more months before that significant somebody walks in there. And once they do, they're going to have a very strong impact on you. They're going to wow you over immediately. And you're going to be, wow, this is the right person. So if you are not teamed up, stay strong, keep looking, but know that it's going to be a little further down the road. And just keep planting the seeds. Keep planting the seeds by letting people know, hey, look, I'm still looking. And if you have a friend, let me know, we can date or whatever, do this kind of things. Don't just sit there with your, under your hands and expect them to come to you. Get out there and be involved. Okay. Get out there and be involved in life. And we have 2 6s here. So by the way, when you're done, please go and check out the angel number 66 and find out why that's important in your love life this week, because that is a significant factor that those 2 6s lined up. And again, it was a 6 of Swords, and the final card was that 6 of Cups. So we're looking at 2 very different things. 6 of Swords is mind and logic and reasoning, and 6 of Cups is about love, is about energy and happiness and joy. So it's a unique teaming, but that's why the 6-6 is important. So check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta have that love.
Yeah. You mentioned needing reassurance, and that's on the first line that I said, encouraging tenderness and reassurance in the relationships. Some people need reminding that they're valuable.
Exactly. And if you are in a relationship with somebody who's a bit narcissistic, they sometimes need it more often, and we forget it because we don't think that way. And so we have to be reminded, they need a little more nurturing, and they need more reassurance. They need a little more than what I would usually do. Remember, take yourself out of the equation and put it in their thinking. What are they thinking? How do they process? You know them well enough. You've been with them long enough, right? That's all I can say.